What's up everybody, Paul the Video here. Today we're going to talk about Lumix S1 II again. The biggest, most important, hottest topic for me, overheating. Since I got this camera 2 months ago, I've done paid work, I've done passion projects, and in the last 24 hours, I've done controlled tests, and today we're going to go scenario by scenario. The day I got the camera, I went to the skate park, and then it was a hot day, it was cloudy, and I shot everything in MOV, open gate 60 frames per second, and the camera did not overheat. Next, I shot a 30-second commercial for Goodwill. Most of it was inside in a cool area, a little bit outside. There was no sunlight. I shot MOV open gate 24 frames per second, and the camera did not overheat. But since this is a 30-second commercial, there was lighting, shooting, discussing, so it was a very sporadic little short shooting, so that's why it didn't overheat. Next, I filmed a flower garden with my dad. It was a very, very hot day. It was very sunny, and I shot raw 5.8K, and yes, it did overheat. Obviously, this is the worst combo you can get. A very, very hot day, very, very strong sunlight. That's when the hell breaks loose. Next, I went to Taiwan to film a real estate video, mostly inside, but the air conditioning did not work. So it was very hot, but there was no sunlight. I shot everything in raw 5.8K, 24 frames per second, except talking heads. The camera did not overheat on this job. Next, pro tennis player. It was a hot day. It was sunny and cloudy at the same time, on and off. I shot everything MOV, 4K, 30 frames per second, and 60 frames per second. But there was one point of time where I had to shoot 30 frames per second, and we're doing a talking head over and over and over again. And there was a strong sunlight, and it did overheat on a very basic codec of MOV file, 30 frames per second, not even open gate. This was a really surprising moment for me because the codec was kind of a low one. I'm like, whoa, I'm not even shooting raw. Maybe the codec doesn't play much role in overheating. Next, I went to an outdoor barbecue festival. It was a hot day, and then it was sunny. I shot everything in MOV open gate 48 frames per second, and yes, it did overheat. Next, water park. It was a very hot day. It was sunny, and I shot everything in MOV open gate 60 frames per second. You would think it'll overheat a lot because it's like a water park and it's open and it's hot, but it actually overheated only one time, and I remember it was extra hot in that spot, and there was a sunlight hitting me. Next, we shot a music video in a very cool indoor space. There was no sunlight. I shot everything in MOV 4K 24 frames per second. So I did really long takes on this one. It did not overheat. So it was actually kind of impressive. Next, cooking show. So we did it in a warm indoor space. There's no sunlight, but it wasn't cool, but it wasn't hot. It was warm. We did everything in raw 5.8K 24 frames per second. And yes, the camera overheated. Now we're going to jump into this control test I've done in the past 24 hours. Test number 1, my living room. It was very cool inside, and there's no sunlight, and I shot everything in raw HQ 5.8K 30 frames per second. This is the biggest codec possible in Lumix camera of 4.2 gigabytes per second. So here, what I did was I recorded it over and over again. Every time the card ran out, I either formatted and started recording again, or I switched to a different express card. And long story short, it recorded for 1 hour and a half without any problem. Test number 2, location scouting at factories. So I had to really do this for work. It was a warm factory without air conditioning, but it was still kind of a little bit cool. There was no sunlight. I shot everything in raw 5.8K 24 frames per second, and it did not overheat. Of course, I was scouting, so I wasn't shooting continuously. I just shot about 15 seconds at a time, but many different angles, and the camera had no issues. Test 3, inside my van. It was hot. I made sure to turn off my air conditioning. The sun went in and out. I shot raw 5.8K 24 frames per second, and yes, it did overheat. Test number 4, super hot backyard. It was really hot today, and it was very sunny today with 0 clouds. So first, I put the camera in the most sunny spot I could find, and it ran 20 minutes before it overheated. Then I cooled the camera for 1 hour, and I brought it back out and put it on this table. At this time, it felt much hotter, and the sun was stronger, and it overheated in 4 minutes. And after that, I cooled it for 1 hour again, and I rocked it with an umbrella above it in the same spot. I would say it was equally hot, and this time it ran for 20 minutes. And then I cooled it again for 1 hour and brought it back out. And this time I did something new. I recorded to SSD, and I turned the LCD off, and then the umbrella was above it. And this gave me the best result outdoors, where I shot for 30 minutes before you overheated. So the rule is pretty simple. If you feel sunlight and it's warm and it's hitting your camera, then there's a potential trouble ahead. So you need to either move to the shade, or you need to hold an umbrella or have somebody cover you with an umbrella while you're shooting, or you need to just keep shooting until it overheats, then go inside and cool it. Before we get to the conclusion, let me share one really important tip on how to cool the camera quite fast. Just open the door, take the C-Express card out, and just let it chill. And then just do this and put it back in when you're shooting. And this was the method I used for the cooking video shoot and the barbecue festival. The warning did keep coming through, but I kept doing this and it worked. This is not a camera for doing long takes. I've seen on YouTube where people used one single SD card and it's still overheated. I think this camera is for commercial videographers like me, where we do small takes at a time and then we try to control it. However, if you're in a cool environment, when I say cool, I mean like where you're a little chilly and you could even rock a little hoodie, that is the 100% safe area where you can shoot any codec and you can shoot it for any duration. So what am I gonna do if I want to shoot a lot of RAW? I would actually rent 2 more cameras, just grab the second one and the third one whenever it overheats. I know that sounds ridiculous, but Lumix has given us a very affordable camera, so that's possible. After all, we need to think about what Lumix has done for us. Lumix always improves, and I absolutely believe whatever model they put on next, which could be S1II or a new camera that we've never heard of, I believe they'll address the issue of overheating. But let's be grateful of how powerful this camera is. We have 60 frames open gate. That has brought me so much convenience, and the RAW codec is amazing. Compared to the original S5 RAW, it's different. It's way juicier, it's rich. Not having to have a monitor to shoot RAW is magic for me because I'm a minimalist filmmaker. After all, this is a really fun tool, but it's still not the best camera, and I believe the best camera is the one that's coming.